All right. Good morning, everybody. I've got Chuck Frias on the Aspen Real Estate Experience. Chuck, I'm really excited to have you on this morning. Thank you for taking time, and it's always a pleasure to get to catch up with you. I'm going to dive right in and ask you, how did you first get into real estate?
So when I came to Aspen, I was going surfing in California, dropped in Aspen, and ended up staying longer than planned, and came back a couple months later in 1974. And I really just got the first job I could get, which was working as a housekeeper for Coach Reed and Waldron. And after a month or so, I was the manager. And then after a few years of property management, Nick Coates had his own ideas of how to run things, and he didn't want to commingle real estate with management. So I knew that was the only way to really make a real buck. So I left him in 1985 to come partner with Dick Butera, running all the Aspen Club companies.
That's
And it was
amazing. What a
purposeful
start.
just to get him. Yeah, exactly. And it was a good move. It worked out.
It's cool to think now. I mean, those are some iconic names in the history of Aspen, but also just Aspen real estate landscape and development and real estate brokerage management, et cetera. When did you start Frias Properties of Aspen?
I served Frias Properties in like the late 80s. So I'd been working with Dick and running the companies and was his partner and worked way too hard. No mentors, nothing. Just had to kind of figure it out, which was kind of rough, but it worked out. And then he sold the Sky Lodge, the now the hotel there that we ran.
W. Yeah.
At W. He was looking to refinance, and a group out of Sweden, Swedish royal family, wanted to buy it, and they were managed by French bankers. So I went along with the deal, and then eventually they didn't realize the value of the property management company and wanted out, and I bought it from them.
Very
And then I
cool.
partnered with Tim Clark in 2000, and it's been great ever since.
So it's obviously had a really strong and long run. What do you attribute the longevity and success over the years? I mean, there's so many companies that come and go, and you're still running strong.
I've told a lot of people way back when I think there were six companies, and of course, there's a lot more management. There are a lot of the buildings today we manage about 60 HOAs, many of which have just owner use only, or the owners rent and manage their own properties, or the brokers do it. And so back then, we used to have 98% of every building we were in. So there was a lot more rental management business in town. But there were six companies. Today, there's really us and McCartney are the only really full time management companies left, per se. There's other smaller ones and growing groups, but the reason I think we've had so much success, we always put our customers first, always rule. So it's worked well for us.
Well, I love hearing that because whether it's property management or really HOA management in many cases and or rentals or sales, put the client first, put your customer first. I mean that seems to be the tried and true success behind everything. What's most challenging for you with that business today?
Just staffing. We're lucky. We have 100, somewhere around 100 employees. We're pretty much fully employed almost, and we have been. And I think it's because we treat people respectfully, fairly, and try to pay them as much as we can. It's Aspen and service businesses struggle. We don't have a lot of excess money to pay people really what they need to live per se. But I think that's certainly our success. So we've had a lot of our I just got a notice from our HR manager anniversaries. We had, I think, five people in the next couple weeks, and they're all 15-year plus employees.
Wow, congratulations.
That's certainly it. I mean, we just have
Yeah.
great staff. Hire the best people you can and get out of their way,
Yeah, how many
which
people
has
do you
taken me
have?
a while to learn. We have about 100.
100 people. So overseeing 60 HOAs, 100 people. How many rentals do you have under the umbrella right now?
Oh, I don't know. Between all the fractional program, which we started many years ago now, and Indy, around 100 probably.
It's
We
it's
had
hard.
200 15 years ago.
Wow. It's hard to fathom just the daily mechanics of the operations that you have to oversee with all that. You obviously have a great team.
It's a lot of work. We take responsibility of feeding all those mouths and families very seriously, and our staff does a great job.
So aside from property management and vacation rentals, Chuck, you've worn a lot of different real estate hats. And when I first really got to spend more time with you 20-ish years ago and get to know you much better at that time, you were also doing some real estate development projects, and you've been a successful real estate broker. Uh, what's your mix right now? And obviously, you're spending part-time in Aspen and part-time away, so you get to have a luxury of looking at a lens differently when you come back to Aspen and how you want to spend your time.
Yeah, well, it's really been interesting since I've been a true second homeowner of what you learn on the other side of the table. It's
Mhm.
quite different. And I hope that helps our team be better at what we do. Yes, we developed five luxury homes over the years from 2003 to 2015-ish. Lots of work, a lot of luck. I think we built some really, truly great homes. Most of the time, we overbuilt them compared to what we could get. And we found that, and I really believe it's timing is more important than building the right thing, unfortunately. But we did well, and that ship has kind of sailed. I'm not there enough anymore to be on job sites every day, and don't need to be. So it's time for all the young professionals to take it up.
Well, it's an interesting comment about the timing because there have been many obviously successful real estate developers in Aspen, and there's been some of the successful ones that have had challenges or flamed out, and many who have
Mhm.
failed. And some of that just frankly relates to their timing or their choice of where they focus on with the timing. I think my experience learning and seeing you in the game, it was okay, timing, there was some good market periods there, but you also went through the Great Recession, and I think location seemed to me to be such an important thing. And you spent a lot of time talking about and focusing on making sure you had prime locations like Red Mountain, for example.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
shifting from that, if you look back over your last couple decades in Aspen, wearing all these different hats, what's the most fun? Is it being a real estate agent? Is it being a developer? Is it the management of a company? What's most fun for you?
Well, I've been lucky every day I get up. I enjoy what I do, but it's mostly just the people. Working with a great staff that we've been lucky to have, all of our managers, seeing all the young professionals now growing their businesses and their families like I did, Marilyn and I did, and we were fortunate to do so. Just the absolute best. Probably coaching Pee Wee hockey for 5 or 6 years was the absolute, and of course, great ski days and everything else, bike days. But that was super fun. I really enjoyed that. So I would say the people make it what it is.
I want to shift. I was going to wait for this line of questions, but given your comment about Pee Wee hockey, one of the things I've always appreciated about you, Chuck, is you are so involved in the community, and whether that's through the lens of your family or your business or just what I see as pure altruism of wanting to make it a better place for everybody. Where does that ignition come from for you to find yourself to get involved? Because a lot of people don't or just don't find the spark that gets them going.
Yeah, well, it's hard for people to find the time. I made it to the detriment, and I was lucky to have family support from Marilyn and my kids and stuff, where I could take the time to do it. But it started at a young age. My father was always very involved in family. We were always involved in everything from churches to community groups. Before I left Massachusetts, when I was 19, I got elected as a town meeting member. And I used my dad's name, but I'll never forget when I walked into that first town meeting with 400 people, and they saw me with the long hair and the cut off jeans and whatever. And they're going, "Who are you?" And I said, I'm elected. I'm here. But I've always felt, I think it's really important for people to take an interest and give back to their community in any way that they can. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think it's really important that those that can need to. And a lot of them, I mean, Sotheby's, what I've always appreciated, Ernie and Craig and yourself and many of your other leadership have been great. I just saw Michelle's email about the gifting and philanthropy and stuff. It's fantastic what's been done there, and that's what's needed. And but it's harder for young professionals today to be involved, I think. And we have a lot of community issues, but the future of our community is in their hands. My ship has sailed. I've gotten mine. I can work around whatever roadblocks are put up and so forth. But I feel for the younger people and their children that want to stay and make Aspen their home of what's in it for them. And I encourage them all the time to get involved as much as you can. Be involved. Go to city council, go to county commissioner meetings, go to whatever you can and do your part.
I would love to see a photo from the archives of Chuck Frias with long hair. I think
No, you don't.
that would be great.
No, you don't.
Well, on that note, and I think it strikes a chord because for those of us who either had the privilege of growing up in the valley or are raising kids or have raised kids in the valley, you have this unique lens of this is more than just me, my journey through here. And as you said, your ship has sailed. I don't agree with that. I think you're still very much a part of this community and have a vested interest. But I understand where you're coming from with that. What's important to you right now from a community standpoint?
Well, I still can't help myself, although I tell Marilyn I'm going to stop getting involved or reading the papers and giving my comments because the county commissioners and city council, who I know all very well, and they know me and they're sick of hearing from me. But I'm free with my opinions still, and I watch what's going on. I've reduced all my community board responsible. I'm just still on the hospital board, which I really enjoy serving on, helping us. And we've got certainly some big challenges coming up, but we've got a great team in place. Just hired a great CEO. We're looking forward to him starting. So yeah, I mean, I still can't help it. So
Yeah,
I
good for
do
you.
I do a lot less, but I still do a lot.
Yeah, and your comment about our company, I think, is so powerful. As you know, we have all local ownership who are clearly believe in the community, and as a company, the foundation that I have had the privilege of being a part of that was built long before me within our company, the leadership of our company of a true focus on philanthropy, but not just dollars, being involved, as you said, being involved in boards, being involved in committees, having a voice. As you know, there are times when you send me an email or we have a conversation about something that's on the political spectrum, and from our company standpoint, we try not to take a political stance in terms of pushing people one way or the other, but it's the information and the encouragement to get involved and have a stance that I think is so important. So it goes way beyond just the dollars that we give every year or the organizations that we support. And you're such a catalyst for that. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, appreciate all you do. It's super important to just
All
stay
right.
involved, right? You don't have to always give dollars, but time is important. Just to be known and heard. Our real estate community used to have, I think, a stronger voice in the community. I remember times when the city council or board of county commissioners would actually come to the board of realtors. Hey, what do you guys think about this issue? We think your voice is important. We had the same with the Lodge Association, which I served as president many terms. It's now kind of dead. And so the business community, I feel, has really lost a lot of its clout in the community. There was a young professional group that I helped with Tori to organize, a few years ago, but that died because they came back to council and they felt like they weren't heard. And that's a sad commentary. I think we need more of that.
I think involvement's important. What do you see, and I want to use a real estate lens, but if you want to broaden it, that's fine. What do you see as the biggest challenges over the next 5, 10 plus years in our community? Again, from a real estate standpoint, but if you think there's other things that tangentially relate, feel free.
Well, technology like our rental and property management business is greatly changing the real estate business. And so, sell people, buyers, sellers, their ability to find other channels aside from professional brokers to use, which I think is a big mistake. And as you've rightly pointed out so many times, us brokers need to be able to substantiate our value to people. And that's the biggest challenge, continuing to do that. I've had customers I've sold $100 million worth of real estate to that started questioning me. Well, what do you really make on this deal? What do you do? Whatever. I say, well, why do you ask? You never have before in all these transactions. And I've been told, well, I read about it every day in the paper, and I feel stupid if I don't ask. And I get that. And so you have a response to that. But that's the big challenge. It's there. It's real.
It is real, and frankly, I welcome the challenge, the transparency that I think is out there more than ever with our clients or potential clients. And when they ask that question, we actually talked about this a little briefly at our Aspen sales meeting yesterday. When your client challenges you on how much are you making on this, because it's real dollars. Obviously,
It's
in
real
our market
dollars.
and our price point, these are significant dollars. In some cases, a commission check could buy a home in other places around the country or the world. And the reality is it's just gotten so much more complex, every aspect of our business. And you've touched on that. But if you just said rentals for a minute, which we talked about at the meeting yesterday, the layer of detail and knowledge and expertise you have to just successfully navigate one rental, one transaction, one lease, never mind a whole year full or a career full, there's a lot there. And for the people who don't recognize and understand that, I think it's tricky. It's challenging to prove that value proposition, but it's very much there, in my opinion, for us to be able to verbalize if we can do it appropriately.
Yeah, well, give you an example. Back in 1989, I did the first $1,000 a night Christmas rental. I had one of the wealthiest families in America call me, said, "We need a Christmas rental." There wasn't anything. We hadn't finished the drone. We were just finishing the drone remodel, which we did that December. And I found a guy that a client I knew had a Red Mountain house. I knew he wasn't going to be here. I said, "Hey, would you be interested in renting this for 14 nights for 1,000 a night?" He said, "Boy, is that how much I can get? I'll take it." And it became the first one. But I did it in like a one page, a couple phone calls, and like maybe a one-page document, and that was it. And it worked out. And then the renters ended up buying other properties from me. Some of the first $2 million homes in Aspen, back then.
Amazing. I mean, those numbers are a
That
little bit different today.
just a little, yeah, yeah. But I wanted to point out, Andrew, I think you're know the business so well, and we're so lucky to have you and your leadership and ideas and knowledge of the business. I'd point out what you always say, which is know the market. So at Thanksgiving, I had a nephew that was staying with us from Los Angeles. He's a top broker in West LA. He's in 35 years old. He's been doing it for a while, but he so gets it. And when you talk to him about his business and the customers, he is so busy. He has so many people that are relying on him to provide all kinds of things. But he is because he's like the Wikipedia of Los Angeles. So he's talking about how we were sitting at a table and he's getting texts on Thanksgiving Day from clients. "Hey, Jordan, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? Or who do I call for this? Or who do I call for that?" And he goes, "That's the foundation of my business. Everybody relies upon me. So when their new referrals come in, which they do, they say, 'Who should we use?' You got to use this kid, Jordan. He knows everything." And they're right. And it was just to me the perfect example of everything that you espouse about how to be successful in our real estate market is that.
That
I'd
is a great
also
anecdote. It
another
speaks to,
example,
oh, go ahead,
another
please.
example. Sorry, I remember just to name one, Craig Morris, who we all know. I was always amazed at how much he knew about every little minutia and detail about everything. It was uncanny. And I think that's how he's really successful. Clients ask you, we all get questions all the time of, "Hey, I heard this sold for that, or I heard about that, or I heard about this, and what's the square footage price and whatever." And, I like to follow it, so I usually can answer it most of the time. Sometimes I'm stumped. Craig would never be stumped. And I don't think you were ever stumped. And
I'm
Chris
sure
Krug
I'm
was
sure I've been
never
stumped many
stumped.
times, but I appreciate it. But I do think that is one of the hallmarks of being a successful agent in our market is you're a trusted advisor. And how do you do that? You have answers. If you don't have the answer, you'll find the answer. You're always available. Your clients know they can rely on you for, like you said, little minutia things, but also big decisions as they go along the way. I want to shift gears a little bit and just ask about the makeup of the clientele of Frias properties, the renters that you see coming in.
Mhm.
How has that shifted over the last 10 or so years in terms of just where people are coming from or other demographic things you could share?
10 years, not so much. 50 years, quite a bit. But 10 years, not so much. It's still
Well, let's look at 50
primarily
years. I'd love to
Southern.
hear a longer perspective.
Oh, 50 years. So back in the early 70s, we had no marketing department, no anything. People just found us. We had every room booked by Labor Day. Whoa, maybe by July. Every room was booked 1 week minimum, Saturday to Saturday, the whole winter. Every all of our 400 condos. So we'd have to service and manage those. It was a daunting challenge. I used to have to walk down the malls on Saturday morning with cash, and people would be hungover or hanging out, and I'd say begging people to come and work and carry garbage or laundry or anything to get the job done, to turn over 400 condos every day for 22 weeks.
Sure.
Exhausting. So that's how it's changed. But so it was all I knew a lot of my friends and stuff who were more Midwest based, Chicago, Detroit, so forth. In the beginning, New York was always a major market as well. But then over time in the '80s, Texas oil money started rolling in. Then it was the Floridians. Southern California just steadily climbed just because that market grew and the money there grew and so forth. So I'd say today it's Southern California. California is the biggest, but closely followed by New York and Texas and Florida. Then Chicago and some of those other ancillary ones have fallen off a little bit.
Interesting. How about
So
international?
international, our high water mark was 22% of our winter guests 1 year, and it was
Got it.
14% Australian, 6% I think Brazilian, and the rest others. And so in our
Interesting.
condo and home rental market, that's dropped off now for many different reasons, but a lot of it, I mean, we've been budgeting, we're forecasting for 2026, trying to put it in our crystal ball what we think will happen. And I always remind my staff, I said, you got to know what the Australian dollar is doing, the Brazilian dollar, that all does matter.
Yeah, it's a huge part of it. So what is that crystal ball? What's it telling you?
I think we're forecasting for our company. We're a little ahead right now, a plan for the year, which is above normal, I think, right now. I'm not really sure why. I wish I knew. I think we're just doing a better job, probably. I think if we can be flat for the next year, I'd be pretty ecstatic.
Yeah, it does feel like flat is the new up in terms of feeling good about where business is going, right?
Yeah. Well, usually I'm wrong. Most of the years I'm the naysayer, and I'm always planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And usually we get the best. So hopefully that'll continue.
Yeah, hopefully that does continue. What have you seen with booking trends before, during COVID, and now after? Have things tightened up? Are people booking further out? What's that look like?
Yeah, he's still, it's surprising how much of our winter business, for example, we book by Labor Day. We've already booked 25% of it, probably. So I haven't seen any major changes. Obviously, with technology, that's the change. So we book a lot more last minute stays than we ever used to. And that continues here, and a lot shorter stays, a lot of more demand for, I don't know what kind of people want to go through the cost and the hassle of traveling to Aspen for a day or two in the winter, but they do.
Interesting.
And for us, because of our contract structure and other things, 1 day bookings are almost just break even at best. It's good for the property owner, not so great for us, but we do them. But you try to watch that. So our average stay length it used to be 7 days because that was our minimum stay. And it's just receded over the years and it continues to do so.
Interesting. Yeah, that is fascinating. People would make all that effort to be here, especially in the winter for such a short period of time. You mentioned really the shrinkage of your condo portfolio. Is that largely because of Airbnb and Verbo, or what do you attribute that
Yeah,
to?
so I have the most inventory on those platforms, but yes, exactly. So many years ago, property owners first they didn't have the time or interest in managing their own place and doing rentals. Airbnb and VRBO changed that. So
Mhm.
now we all have investor people will buy just for the rental opportunity, the rental income. They turn it into a little thing. In my opinion, it's a mistake to allow that residential use to become a commercial. Well, it's all commercial use. I don't think that should control a lot of the zoning and taxation and other stuff, in my opinion, which is a mistake. So there's a lot of communities nationwide, worldwide, that are fighting back against that. Like in my area here, Indian Wells, I think Palm Springs has really cut down a lot on Airbnb and VRBO and short-term rentals, and everybody's doing it via permitting and taxation and other ways. But I don't think it's ever going to stop. It's here to stay.
Yeah,
But
big
that certainly
picture.
changed it a lot. But when we talk to customers who look at our fees and go, well, why would we pay you? Said, well, we're 24/7. We do everything for you with one call. I don't know of any other company anywhere that does what we do for our customers. And when you talk to owners who want to rent and say, well, you're charging this, I can do it for that. I said, so how much do you put your time? What's your time worth? I think it's $100, $200 an hour. They don't value that at all. So when you
Right.
put that into the equation, it's zero. Obviously, doing it on their own makes far more financial sense. I get that, but I would suggest to any of them that their time is worth a whole heck of a lot. And if they put that time in, they'd see any of the management companies or brokers or whoever's doing rentals or management Aspen's charging a fair price.
Big picture, how would you grade the Aspen short-term rental regulations that have been put in place?
Terrible.
Yeah.
So I fought that hardly with some others. We created a coalition to do that. We lost the battle and then the war. But in my opinion, what they were trying to do is an easy money grab because they went to the local voters who don't pay it to get the tourists to pay more money to provide housing. My opinion is strongly that, and we see it in the actual stats that have come out now, and they don't really share it and they haven't dug into it because they don't have to or they don't care to. But in my opinion, the negative impacts of the valley, all the traffic, the competition for housing, competition for workers, all that comes from more of the second homeowners and their guests. They're the ones that make all the reservations, the restaurant. Their spend is way greater than us locals. And so my suggestion always and still will be increase the sales tax, refund the true locals who it may be a burden to if it's an onerous tax, just like they do with the food tax program. They did it with it because of the plastic bags or something. I forget in the city of Aspen. I said, just
Right.
do that. And then you get the people that are contributing to the problems to really pay for it. And for those people, they can afford it. So they're getting a free ride still off the backs of our 50-year historic rental properties. It's so wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's a hard nut to crack, and unfortunately, I think it all came about during a time when the demographic of rentals was so different in Aspen during COVID than most other times, and so now they're trying to, I think, weed through that. Just another quick two questions, and we'll wrap up. The first is, what do you think about AI in your business, either at Frias or just generally? Is it something that's at the forefront or not yet?
Absolutely at the forefront. We all use it. Marilyn, my wife, my family, we use it. My daughter reminds us, says, don't use it for everything because it's like a gallon of gasoline every time you use it. Use use Google instead for basic stuff that you can get. But no, AI is the real. I think it's a bubble. I think it's going to blow up. Unfortunately, it's going to affect our economy in a big way, and maybe some of our customers somehow. Everybody's tied in with it somehow, some way. We've looked at it as a company, right? Every day, like every our customers, I read about AI this, AI that, and you go, how can we be using it better in our business in every way we do it? And there are some ways, but it's not as easy as you would think. And when we really go out to the vendors and the people that provide it, and you dig deep, it's not an end all, and it doesn't do anything. But for real estate brokers, I think it's a reality. If I were listing a house, I'd go to AI first and say, "Hey, what do you think it's worth? What should we do? How do you prep it? How do you stage it?" You put a picture out, and it'll tell you how to stage it better. I mean, it does a lot of stuff. It's a powerful tool for sure, and it's our main competition.
It is, and I really appreciate your perspective. Somebody the other day shared with me, they said they use it nonstop in their business, which is unrelated to real estate, but they said they also approach it with a trust but verify. You have to really
Yes.
use it as much as you can, but then make sure what's coming back to you is actually truly helpful and accurate versus misleading.
That's very true. I was at a seminar this summer at the Aspen Institute, the health track, and there was a symposium there was a Google exec, somebody else on a national group managing technology, and a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. And the thing was on AI. It was how do you know what's right and what's wrong? And the Google exec. So while I'm listening to that, I'm putting into three different AI models I've used as the same question. The Google exec says, make sure you look at the end to see the source of the information. It should always be posted.
Hmm.
The only one of the three that didn't was his. And I went
Oh,
up
interesting.
after and I mentioned it to him. He goes, "Oh," I guess I better check into that. I don't.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's
Yeah.
wrap up with, and you can pick, because you spend your time obviously in your wells and here. What's a perfect day in the life of Chuck Frias?
Oh my God, there's so many. I can't even describe it all. But I'm always up early. Like this morning, I was up at 3:40 or something, and had plenty of sleep. Was rearing to go, and yeah, so many things from a powder day, climbing up, Kayak, as you know, and you're so good at. Not chasing you up there. That's a plus. Or Ernie or Craig or all you tall, strong, fit guys. It's too much for me anymore. But yeah, just mountain biking, golfing, going to the office, working, talking to customers, locals, going out to dinner. I mean, there's too much to add. It's like people ask me, I've been fortunate to play many of the great golf courses in the world. And where I was talking the other night with a bunch of Dallas National guys that flew out here. We're staying over at a high end club and we had dinner together and we were talking about all the golf courses we played. And none of us could name really the top even 10. There's been so many. So it's kind of like that in the life of, for myself anyway, or being in Aspen. There's just so much to do
There is,
that
and
I would pick any one thing.
I appreciate most what you said there, the balance. It's a little bit of play, a little bit of work,
Abs-
just having fun with friends, family, etc. So very cool. Chuck, I can't thank you
Absolutely.
enough for taking time with me this
Thank
morning
you,
to be on
Andrew.
here. Have a
Love
great
to
day,
help.
and
Love to
I look
help
forward to catching
anybody
up with you when you're
anytime.
back in Aspen.
Anytime, I'll be back.
All
See you
right,
soon.
take care. Appreciate
See
it.
you all. Bye bye.
Thanks, Chuck.